It's time for Mornings at 8 with Jonathan Mark on AM 1480 WLEA.
Oh, yes, it is time for Mornings at 8, and it is 5 minutes after 8 o'clock on a Thursday morning. Thursday, practically Friday. However, I think for a lot of people, their work week is just starting because as of this morning, I believe all area schools are now in session. So, the 2019-2020 school year is officially underway. A lot more traffic this morning. Boy, there was a lot more traffic. Yes, sir. Yeah, a lot more traffic than usual. School buses, kids, and cars, and all that stuff. Yep, here we go. Boy, it sure does feel like fall out. Officially, it's not fall yet, of course, but man, it really feels like fall. There was rather a brisk fog out there this morning. I don't know if it's still foggy. I can't really see from here, but it was awfully foggy. A lot of trees are changing here and there and here and there. And there you go. And the year is underway and the seasons change. You know, I thought this morning it occurred to me that any little ones starting kindergarten this year, and there are a bunch of them, but the little ones starting kindergarten this year, according to my calculations, this is the 2019-2020 school year. So anyone entering kindergarten this year will be the class of 2032. So the class of 2032 is entering kindergarten this year. Isn't that neat? I mean, really, 2032. That's a long way down the road. Yet it was. Let me see. My mom. A little kindergarten story here. My mom took me to register me for the following school year. I was, I guess, 4 or 5 years old or something like that. So she took me down to school. This was Besantipog Elementary School in West Babylon on Long Island. And she took me down to register me. And this was in May, toward the end of May. So she was going to register me for the following school year. And at the end of this meeting or process or something, I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave school. I wanted to start school right then. And I remember my mom and the counselor or whoever it was telling me, well, you can't do that. You got to start next year. You're registered now, and then you start next year. I said, no, I want to stay. I don't want to go home. I want to stay here. So I raised the stink, and after a little consultation between my mom and the counselor, they said, okay, start now. So I started school that day. So I guess if it was the end, I spent like 2 weeks in kindergarten, possibly 3 weeks. I don't know. I really don't recall. I don't remember. But yeah. So I started school right then. And I really don't remember much about kindergarten. I mean, I wasn't there that long. But I do remember that I had a crush on my kindergarten teacher, Miss Valentine. She had strawberry blonde hair and a very nice voice. And I said, well, you know, I can't really marry her, you know, but boy, I sure do like her. And that's all I remember of kindergarten was I had a crush on Miss Valentine, my kindergarten teacher. Okay, that's very good. I'm sure you're fascinated by that. Let me see. The NFL season starts this evening. And we will be carrying let me see who's playing, the Packers and the Bears. Westwood One's coverage of the Packers and the Bears starts at 7:30 this evening. And the football season's underway. Yes, sir, it all starts this week. Everything is a go. Well, let me see. You know, I have a number of stories this morning. Normally, I don't have a theme, but actually kind of glancing over things, I would say I do kind of have a theme. Let me see. We start off with a scam, and then we go into various lunatics here and there. So it's this morning is scammers and lunatics. In the first place, there was a story in yesterday's edition of The Spectator on page, I think I'm on page 2. Yes, it was page A2. And if you didn't happen to see it, it's worth repeating. Because scammers are out there all over the place. They are just all over the place. And the Dateline is Albany, so I guess it was a news release. I don't know. And the heading is Bogus Letters Demanding Payment Sent to Taxpayers. New York State Tax Department assures recipients letters are fake. Yes, sir, boy howdy. The New York State Department of Taxation and Finance, it says here, alerted taxpayers to fake letters that demand immediate payment for an outstanding tax debt and threaten revocation of passports and driver licenses if the warning is ignored. And the return address on this letter, which was sent to at least one person, is Tax Processing Center, Internal Processing, Service Public Judgment, Records. And that's the return address. And the letter states that the recipient has failed to respond to prior notices, demands full payment by a specific date, and provides an 888 number to call to avoid having personal property levied and sold. It also threatens to revoke the recipient's driver's license and passport. Now, logically, if you haven't received prior notices, then you couldn't respond to them, could you? So I don't know about that, but at any rate, that's what it says. And who is this? New York State Tax Commissioner, State Commissioner of Taxation and Finance, Michael Schmidt. He says this is a common scam. I've never heard of this one, but he says this is a common scam in which the recipient is threatened out of the blue with punitive action unless payment. In this case, $12,444 is made immediately. In contrast, our department works with taxpayers who have existing tax debt, such as by establishing an installment payment agreement. We also work with all levels of law enforcement to bring the fraudsters who commit these types of crimes to justice. Good deal. The tax department also routinely explains a taxpayer's right to challenge a bill or notice, or other departmental actions, and offers several ways to pay the bill. So, apparently, the tax department never threatens arrest or revocation of passports. A legitimate letter from the department will include tax department logo, a complete return mailing address, an option to respond online, by phone, or by mail. The tax department website address, a detailed explanation for why it was sent, and an explanation of your rights as a taxpayer. So, if you receive, well, the bottom line is, if you receive a suspicious letter that claims to be from the New York State Tax Department, you can contact them by phone, and here's a number here, 518-451-1566, or you can email them at, dtfoia@tax.ny.gov. And scammers have also claimed to be from the New York State Treasury. And if you receive one of these calls, notify the agency at 1-800-771-7755. So there we go. But people will do anything. Some people will do anything to steal whatever money you have, or take your ID, or something like that. Man, they are just all over the place. So that was in yesterday's Spectator. Well worth making a note of. And from there, scammers, we move on to various lunatics. I had a story about, I had a sports story yesterday. Right, and here's another one. Sort of, in a manner of speaking. This was from Fox News. Major League Soccer club bans Utah couple from waving Betsy Ross flag at games. You know the Betsy Ross flag? It's, let me see, it has the horizontal red and white stripes, and in the upper left-hand corner, it has 13 white stars and a blue field. Right in a circle? Okay, that's the Betsy Ross flag. So it says here, for many Americans, the 13th-star Betsy Ross flag is a symbol of America's victorious fight for independence from Britain. But two diehard soccer fans in Utah say Major League Soccer's Real Salt Lake, that's the name of a team, Real Salt Lake, asked them to take down a Betsy Ross flag they were waving in the front row at a recent match because the team dubbed the Star-Spangled Banner, are you ready, a symbol for hate groups. So the Betsy Ross flag is a symbol for hate groups. It's hard to follow this one. Let me see. This couple, Randolph and Diana Scott, have season tickets for, they've attended every home game for the team at the Rio Tinto Stadium in Sandy, Utah. So they showed up at a game with team jerseys and hats, and they also brought a version of the original American flag, right? The Betsy Ross flag. So, on we go here. Stadium personnel asked the couple to take the flag down or risk being asked to leave. They kept telling us that if he wasn't going to take it down, meaning her husband, we were going to be rejected from the game, his wife Diana said. So after repeatedly being asked to do so, they eventually put the flag away. I don't know why, but they did. Anyway, so Randolph said, he asked me, he's like, so what's the purpose of the flag? And I was like, well, 'cause we love America. Okay, that sounds pretty good. Now, the Real Salt Lake is part of Major League Soccer, and it's sanctioned by the United States Soccer Federation. And MLS, Major League Soccer, has stated in its fan code of conduct that using, including on any sign or other visible representation, political, threatening, abusive, insulting, offensive language and or gestures, which includes racist, homophobic, xenophobic, sexist, or otherwise inappropriate language or behavior, is prohibited at stadiums to preserve the safety of the games. Some critics have said the Betsy Ross flag connotes slavery and has been used by far-right groups also flying the Confederate battle flag. I don't see where the two have anything to do with each other. It's got nothing to do with it, but anyway. But others claim that interpretation is an overstatement and that the flag refers solely to the fight for independence. Yeah, okay, right. So shortly before July 4th, if you recall, Nike pulled a new shoe. They had the Betsy Ross flag on the heel. And San Francisco 49ers quarterback and troublemaker Colin Kaepernick said he found the shoe offensive, and so they pulled it. And Kaepernick, of course, has also been an outstanding advocate of the Black Lives Matter movement, and he's the one who started this whole thing about kneeling to the Star Spangled Banner and the whole thing. Great, absolutely wonderful. Yeah, that's really good. And so Diana, this couple, the wife, it just kind of bothered me that Nike was going to take it away. It's a great flag, and I love it. So RLS said the team's personnel's decision to ask that the flag be taken down during the game was in line with the team's belief that the symbol was too controversial to be allowed at the stadiums. RSL Chief Business Officer Andy Carroll said in a statement, recently, and very controversially as well as surprising to us, the colonial flag has been adopted as a symbol for hate groups. Where? How? Where? I haven't seen that anywhere. Anyway, any controversial flags or other similar banners or signs with symbols of hatred, divisiveness, and or intolerance, whether intentional or otherwise, will not be allowed in our stadiums. Period. Okay. Wow. So the Scots, that's the name of the couple, if you recall, they said, okay, they understood the team's policy. I don't know about it. They must really like soccer or something. The Scots said they understood the team's policy and more than weren't bothered by being asked to put the flag away. So that's what, how in the world could the Betsy Ross flag be interpreted as being xenophobic? What were the other ones? Racist? No. Homophobic? No. Xenophobic? No. Sexist? No. That's the strangest thing. So there we go. Okay, so the Betsy Ross flag is a symbol of xenophobia and homophobia. And okay, fine. Let me see. And speaking of lunatics, oh boy, it took a little more time than I thought. Okay, can I do this one quickly? Yeah, probably. San Francisco board passes San Francisco. Gotta love San Francisco. Oh, the West Coast. Yes, sir, Bob. San Francisco board passes a resolution labeling the NRA a domestic terrorist organization. So, the resolution, which local Fox affiliate KTVU reported passed on Tuesday of this week, declares the gun rights group to be a terrorist group and calls on other cities and government entities to make similar declarations. The resolution itself has no legal weight. And neither, might I add, it doesn't make any sense. So the NRA is a terrorist organization. according to the San Francisco board, the Board of Supervisors. Wow. That is pretty strange. Do you know that the NRA is the nation's oldest civil rights group? Yeah, the NRA is the nation's oldest civil rights group. So I don't know, but on the other hand, it's San Francisco, and there must be something in the air there or something. Okay, fine. Well, insurance. Everybody needs insurance. You can't get by without insurance. There's, auto insurance, home insurance, landlord insurance, tenant insurance, all kinds of boat insurance. You know, there's all kinds of insurance. And the Ryan agencies of Hornell, Jasper, and Wellsville can help you right now. All you got to do is give them a call, right? They're friendly people. They are experts in insurance. That's right. That's right. They don't work for any one insurance company. They scour all the insurance companies and try to find the best rate for you. They offer sound, unbiased advice. They're friendly, they're local, and they're really, really nice people. The Ryan agencies. Okay, and back we are. Well, let me see. What else here? What else? Yeah, let's get God out of the business, right? Let's just get God out of the country, right? It's a whole bunch easier, right? This is from the Examiner. Just preposterous. California congressman laments use of the word God in oaths. A Democrat congressman from California says he thinks that witnesses being instructed to recite "So help me God" during oaths is preposterous. That's the word he uses. Democrat Representative Jared Huffman made the remarks while appearing on the Freedom from Religion Foundation's Free Thought Matters show. Huffman sits on the House Natural Resources panel, which tried to remove references to God in their oaths earlier this year, according to Fox News. Well, unfortunately, it's been kind of a sporadic standard, Huffman said. Some committees have dropped the oath, others have not. I sit on the Natural Resources Committee, and in our original proposed rules, we propose that we drop the oath or we allow witnesses to simply say it voluntarily if they choose to, which to me makes perfect sense. Members of Congress presiding over panels have the authority to dictate the words in the oaths that are given to witnesses. The House Judiciary held a hearing in February. Democrat Representative Jerry Nadler of New York left out "So help me God" from an oath. Republican Representative Mike Johnson of Louisiana objected, prompting Nadler to re-administer the oath. And the following month, Democrat Representative Steve Cohen of Tennessee left out the words, causing Johnson to object again. This time, Nadler told Johnson, "We do not have religious tests." Huffman also went after House Republican Conference Chairwoman Representative Liz Cheney of Wyoming for standing up to Democrats trying to remove the language from the oath. It's unconstitutional to require a witness in congressional testimony to affirm an oath to a deity they may not even believe in, or to affirm an oath to a singular deity when you might be a polytheistic Hindu, for example. It's just preposterous, Huffman said. So, he used a theoretical example of astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson testifying before Congress. He's an atheist. Do we force him to affirm an oath to a God he doesn't believe in? Huffman wondered. It frankly really strains credulity that in this day and age Congress would have something like that, and yet some of the politics persist. A spokesman for Cheney said, "Liz Cheney will always defend God, period, and if that bothers Representative Huffman, we'll be praying for him." So there you go. I don't know about that. As I said, this was going to be full of scammers and lunatics. I mean, really strange stuff. And what else have we here? How about, well, everybody needs a hobby, right? And if you're 81 years old, you could be playing bingo, maybe you knit, or maybe you belong to some kind of a social club or something like that. Well, here's an 81-year-old Florida man whose hobby apparently is burglary on a big scale. He's 81-year-old holiday bandit busted in luxury New York City break-ins. This guy steals high-end stuff. What's his name? Samuel Sabatino. He was taken into custody on the Upper West Side over the Labor Day weekend. And apparently this guy has really made off with a lot. Let me see. Assistant District Attorney, I can't find her name. Anyway, And the assistant district attorney there said he's stolen more than $40,000 in jewelry from one place, $50,000 in another place. Just this year, the suspect stole over $100,000, successfully entering 3 separate apartments and attempting to enter additional apartments. However, it is believed that Sabatino has stolen about $400,000 worth of items over the past 5 years. High-end jewelry, watches, this and that, other valuables. Holy mackerel, 81 years old. Well, as I said, everybody needs a hobby, so there you go. Okay, I hear the sounder going, and I will see you tomorrow at 8:05. Bye.